first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, July 28th. What a weekend for recruiting. I mean,
Crootin.
I'm gonna be honest. Thursday, I didn't believe you. Now I wasn't skies falling, Chicken Little over here. Like, no, that'll never happen. But it felt like you were selling me a lot.
Yeah, it all worked out.
And it's unusual for it all to work out.
Right. And then you've kind of set some things in place for future commits, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, big weekend overall for recruiting, and another weekend that we're getting closer and closer to football season.
Yeah. It's someone put out the 2025 schedule, and speaking of just football in general, I need to remind everybody how much I hate neutral site regular season games. It's so dumb.
Oh yeah, we got another one in 2025, don't we?
Syracuse, which would be another fun home and home game
In Atlanta.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
Have they axed the Nebraska series yet? Did they do that when Oklahoma and Texas joined the SEC?
I don't know.
Because I think it starts in 2026. I believe it's supposed to.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll axe it just to find another home and home somewhere. Or neutral site game somewhere. Yeah. I'm sure of it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to complain this early. It's good news. It's a good weekend. Football season is now 34 days away, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
34 days.
Close.
I just did some quick math in my head. Yeah. Football season, 34 days away. That's this is just a great weekend it's been, just to be dampened by rain. Lots of rain. Good Lord. I had to go outside for a second. I'm very wet. Oh, you can see it. Okay. Yeah. Good camera. I mean, literally 2 seconds I walked outside.
The other day, it rained so hard that like my window started leaking. I'm like, oh, I guess I need to re-caulk that. So I got a towel on my windowsill right here because you just never know.
Like where your window opens, you have it caulked?
Well, like it was like the bottom of it. Like
okay.
It's just not. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to caulk where the window actually opens.
Yeah, just tape it shut. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be all
I mean, honestly, I don't really open it anyway. Yeah, so I could.
Yeah, sure, just do it.
Yeah,
just cover the whole window. Actually,
just caulk the whole thing.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
Why do you even need a window? It's a studio.
Exactly. Yeah. Blackout curtains, blinds. Yep. You don't need it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
This pisses me off. This rain. But yeah, we're going to talk some of that recruiting. And listen, I guess we can kind of start going ahead. I didn't know where Tennessee, once the suspected guys committed, how this class would be ranked. Didn't think it'd be this high. It's been a while since I've been excited about a Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee ranking and recruiting, and I got to say, I am. This fires me up.
Yeah, like you're looking at, you're usually happy with like a top 10, but when you're like top 10, you're usually like 6th or 7th in the SEC. So you want to try to get in that top 5 range, and like Tennessee just keeps adding and adding, and you're getting closer and closer to the top there. Where as on 3 they have us at the number 7 class, and then 247 has us the number 5 class right now. With David Sanders is still out there, Onis Cannonbanny, I think is how you say that.
Sure.
Dewan Morris, the Oakland running back. It looks like Jaden Perlotti was supposed to be in town, but went to USC. So that one's kind of, I don't know if it's dead in the water, but it seems a little weird. Juan Gaston is out there. Josh Petty, they'd probably like to add. So, I mean, we could be talking top 5 at least. You're adding a couple more of those guys. I think you're sitting pretty good in that top 5. And here it is. It's not like it's early on in the recruiting process. Most of your class is already intact. You're just kind of, getting, these. It seems like the summer and like August is when everything's kind of done, and then they, do their senior season and sign in December. It's kind of like what the recruiting schedule looks like for most prospects.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and you see that this weekend with the addition of Deshaun Brame. Getting a quarterback, especially a high-profile quarterback, in early, I think, is huge for a recruiting class. And George McIntyre's been a big part of it, and why it's shaken out the way it has. And I think that's one thing we've talked about how important it is for Heupel, but it's really important for every program to have a quarterback every year. I don't think that just plays into the team. I think that also plays into classes. Go and get a good quarterback, and the rest is going to kind of fall in line and kind of fill out for itself. People want to be a part of a good recruiting class, not just a good program. Of course, they want to go to a good program, but they want to be a part of a good recruiting class as well. Mm-hmm. Those are the guys they're going to be in school with 3-4 years if they stay that long. But that's what they want to do. So getting that central piece in first is massive. It doesn't always have to work that way, but you've seen it time and time again, not just at Tennessee. Getting a high-profile quarterback in early to start the ball rolling with guys is very important.
Yeah, I agree. And August 3rd, Faison Brandon, the number 1 quarterback in the 2026 class, is supposed to make his decision. If that is Tennessee, I mean, that you don't have a commit right now for the 2026 class. You're going to start off the first one with, arguably the top player in the country, the number 1 quarterback. I mean, that could be huge. For that class to kind of just start it off with a bang like that. But yeah, they're piecing this 2025 class along, and just got 2 big commits from this weekend, and then another kind of big recruiting weekend where you kind of set some stuff into place, before that dead period gets here in August.
Yeah, that's obviously it's kind of interesting seeing high profile. I guess that started in the last, I guess, say 10 years to be safe, high profile guys committing so early. It used to feel like the high profile guys, you every once in a while you'd see them get in early on recruit and start working on recruiting classes. But today, there's still quite a few where it felt like everybody at the Army All-American games were committing to schools.
I know. Yeah. Now there's a
handful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's somewhere when they get guys like commit to like go to that game, they're like, hey, do you care to hold off your commitment so we can do this at a break?
Yeah.
We don't have very many commercials we have to run, so can we just like do that? So.
Yeah, every TV timeout we used to have 2 guys committing, and now we have 3 for the total game, so we got to fix this.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
It is crazy how recruiting like changes, and it's like quarterbacks are like usually the first ones to commit, I guess, to kind of get that class started. But I don't know why. Like, why is it why is quarterbacks a year in advance basically committing? I guess they have I guess you just want kind of the face of your class already there.
Yeah, and it's the nature of, I think, just the sport now. This quarterback position's always been important, but in the new era, the RPO era, it's become even more important. Mm-hmm. And so I think that I think it's just that. It's that you want the best wide receivers in the best. Sure, there's so many other important positions, but when you talk about winning football games, you have to have athletes, have to have the talent. Wide receiver, running backs, the guys who score the points or who your primary gets are, and they want to play with a good quarterback. And that's just kind of how it all shakes out. So if you don't have a good quarterback that's a sophomore or a junior, it becomes even more important to go out and get someone in that class to be a part of.
Yeah. But if you don't go to the Elite 11, you will get dropped like 60 spots for that. So
yeah, I'm curious to see if George McIntyre can even earn a 5th star with how significant of a hit he took going into his senior year. It gets nutty. How do you go from a 5-star and not even having a chance of ever being a 5-star again?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then who knows? Maybe after winning a national championship, he'll be bumped back down to QB4 going into the next season. Or
you could have a 5-star by your name, and by the time your career's over, it's you're a walk-on at a Power 5 school. So
no more walk-ons. That's the good news.
That's true.
No more walk-ons.
We should be a walk-on. We should make a walk-on, like we should make it a thing again. Like walk-on should never die.
There should be a designated title.
Okay, like a DH.
Under a 1-star. Yes, under a 1-star that's like this guy in the old era, he would be a walk-on.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can go to school as a walk-on, still get your scholarship, but you're always going to be a walk-on.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think those guys should even have to be recruited. I'm just walking on. I'm taking up a spot. You have 105 spots. I'm going to take one of them. Sorry.
Yeah, that's going to be we've got we got to find a way to designate walk-ons still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what about the is it the Burlsworth Award?
I would think so, yeah.
Does it just go away?
Correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't have to be a designated walk-on that year to win it. Is that correct? You just had to be a walk-on at some point in your career?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we still have that, I think. I think the dream's still alive.
You think we have it?
Well, numbers-wise, there are still going to be guys that walk on. They just get, once they make the team, they just get put on scholarship because unless rules change, you can only sign 25 guys to a class. But it's 105 scholarships. And then obviously with the transfer portal, you're never going to have 105 guys you recruited. Correct?
Yeah. So they would technically...
They'd still technically have walk-ons, I think.
Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong, but I would think.
Yeah.
I just need the world to know that they're walk-ons. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have names on the back of their jerseys. It just says walk-on.
Let's take away red shirts, too. Let's just take that away.
Infinite eligibility?
Sure. I was looking it up today. I saw a graphic of the oldest players in college football, and one guy at Miami started his career in 2016.
Yeah, you said like 4 medical red shirts or something, right?
Yeah. And I was like, Keenan Peely's pretty old. When was he a freshman? He also started his career in 2016.
That's crazy.
But he
was that 8 years?
Yeah, he did like
he did the
2-year thing with.
But he did that during his career, in the middle of his career.
I think so. I think like his first 2 years, maybe.
So, see, that shouldn't be right. They normally, because that's why they have older guys right out of high school. They do their 2-year mission, I believe, and they come back and play.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
So he didn't start his career until 2018 then, but he should have started in 2016.
Yes, because
he
was part of that 2016 class.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that Miami dude actually started his career in 16. He's had 4 medical red shirts or something like that.
It's insane.
Yeah, kind of rocks though. He should have several degrees by now.
Yeah, what if he doesn't have? What if he's like undecided still?
Just taking a bunch of electives, trying to figure it out. He's
Yeah.
just trying to figure life out.
Sure. I respect that. I mean, he should have. I was thinking about that. Like, he is. How old would he be? I mean, 20, 24, 25?
He'd be at least. He should be 26.
26.
Is he? How many schools has he gone to?
Oh, I don't know that. Yeah, I'm not sure on that, but he did. You don't. He's like in what would be like the prime of your career, I guess, like the start of it, and he has like no experience, so he's going to graduate Miami probably another 3 or 4 years and be almost 30 and be like, I have no job experience.
Right, but
I have studied a lot. I haven't.
Maybe we don't know
classes.
for sure. Yeah, he has attended classes for that,
or enrolled in classes. I don't know. If
right.
Attended is the best use of that word either.
So this is actually his 9th season. He is officially the longest. He has the longest eligibility of any college football player. So he went to Oregon.
Okay.
He spent 7 years there. Good Lord. That's actually, let him do whatever he wants. He's only been to 2 schools in 9 years. If there's any other player in college football that's played for 9 years, he's been to at least 5 schools.
Well, they keep making it more beneficial to be in college. Like, as he's been on, he's like, I mean, now I can go wherever I want. Now I can get all these red shirts, and they just let it happen. And now I can get paid.
He just wanted to be in a video. He wanted to be in a video game.
Yeah, now he's in a video game. I mean, he is like doing it right. He's like, y'all keep putting stuff out here, I'm gonna keep staying.
Here's a fun one that an SI article about him talked about. How long did McCormick begin his college football career? When he pledged to Oregon, Lincoln Riley had just taken the OC job at Oklahoma. Mark Rick was the coach at Georgia. Kirby was the DC at Alabama, and Nebraska had just fired Bo Pelini. He does have his master's degree. He has a master's degree from Oregon, so he's utilizing it. He's utilizing those 9 years.
He's literally waiting. It's like when we started the podcast.
Yeah, just waiting for them to win a national championship before he leaves college.
Yeah,
exactly.
So this is it. We finally won one. He can officially. This will be his last year, guaranteed.
If Miami wins the national championship.
Oh, I was talking about us.
With
us, like Tennessee won.
He's waiting for Tennessee to win a national championship.
Yeah, okay. Which happened. So this will be his last year.
This is it. This is the. Does he get a Coach K like send off everywhere? Every school he goes to gives him flowers for his. I mean, he's been in the college game forever. He should.
Yeah,
he's been pivotal in it.
I'm thinking we have a parade. Another one.
Okay. I think he deserves that at the bare minimum.
Yeah. Let's talk about these recruits real quick. We're gonna have a special guest on here in a second, so let's get to these real quick. So the first one you had Shady Hayward, 4-star safety out of Toombs County, Lyons, Georgia, 6'1", 205. I love his. They did like a little paragraph about him, and his coach said, "Physical, physical, physical, physical." He flies around. I'm in.
Sure.
Automatic 4-star. 4 physicals? You kidding me?
4. You just need 1 to compete.
He's got 4, man.
It's a lot of turning the coffin. I'll tell you that.
Yep. He is ranked the number 100 player, number 9 safety, and number 13 player in the state of Georgia. Also beat Georgia to get Shady Hayward. Also Shady Hayward's sick name.
Honestly.
Yeah.
He spells it pretty sick too.
Yeah, a little funky.
Aedy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just beating the Bulldogs and continuing to win those recruiting battles. And then Deshaun Brame, who flips to Tennessee from Oregon. I think it was the end of June is when he picked Oregon. This is why you do not do the hat thing, I feel like. You never know when you might come back around. There's a little bit of buyer's remorse, maybe. I don't know. It just seemed like the relationships just really stood out to him, and he said he made the wrong decision. So if just admitting that, I'm like, hey, cool with me. You're back now. That's all. Yeah. That's all that matters. You haven't signed yet. So yeah, you land him the number 4 tight end in the country. Number 101. So Tennessee landed the number 100 player and the number 101st player in back-to-back days. Pretty wild. But Tennessee did strike out on a lot of tight ends last class with Jaden Riddell, Max LeBlanc, the Roger kid who ended up at Oregon. So you just kind of struck out with all those, and a lot of people were just like, Alec Ablin, new coach, can't get it done. And then he comes and lands 2 4-stars in the next class. So all is well. And and it wasn't like they were in-state kids either. I mean, Brame's from Kansas and Dorslayer's from Texas. So, just really, I think the offense really sells to the tight ends, especially Brame. I was watching his highlight tape today. I mean, yeah, they use him kind of like Ethan Davis was in high school, and just kind of like a slot guy that they just use matchups, but he also lined up on the line. And yeah, I mean, he's 6'5", or 6'4", he's gonna destroy people. But he did a nice job blocking on all of those, ran over some kids. So yeah, I think this is a big pickup, and obviously jives with George McIntyre, which you alluded to earlier, of having a high-profile quarterback in your class to kind of put it together was huge in that recruitment too.
Right. I think getting Brame too is big, going back into missing out on so many tight ends. To have someone to play, you mentioned Ethan Davis, have someone to play with him, I think was an important thing to do. Holden State still has 2 years eligibility, correct? He could return next year.
He could.
But obviously Deshaun Brame would be a freshman. So, I mean, you don't know what that situation. So to get him in is big for a lot of reasons. Not just the tight end position, but also a highly recruited guy. And you won some battle. In fact, you got him to flip a commit, which is fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, beating out Oregon, who is – they're thought highly of right now, and same with, you beat Georgia out. If you do land David Sanders, that's going to be Ohio State, Nebraska, Georgia as well. I mean, basically, he had his pick of he could win anywhere. Yeah, just continue to win those battles, and it just seems like every time somebody commits, all I hear is like relationships.
Yeah.
And I think it is true, because you don't see a lot of guys transfer out very much. You're like, oh, like that kid didn't play this year. He probably doesn't stay at very many places, but for some reason, there's just something about being a part of this program where people want to be around it. And it's, like you have some turnover, but probably not as much as a lot of teams for guys who aren't playing.
Yeah, and I don't – it's interesting to see pretty much every – I don't know what the actual percentage would be, but like 90% of the hires, it feels like, have all been promotions from within. You go into relationships. Those guys are getting the opportunity to be a part of those built relationships, especially not just the recruits, more so with the players. So I'm sure that factors into some of that decisions as well. We'll see if we obviously know – the Kelsey Pope promotion worked out. There's a few more to see if and if they work out or not. But I think that's helping you right now. Obviously, some coaching to be done on the field, but I think it's helping you right now in the recruiting.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Well, let's see how this kind of finishes out. You have David Sanders in the next couple weeks. You have Faison Brandon, the top quarterback in the 2026 class, will commit on August 3rd. And then Onis Canabani, I think he put out his final two is Tennessee and Florida State, so that should be soon as well. And we'll see kind of what other names pop up for Tennessee. Crootin.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a good friend to tell us about?
Yeah, I do. I didn't. Oh gosh, man, I didn't know this though. We had a felon at the Rock this weekend. That's crazy. I didn't see a tweet till just now. I thought he specifically wasn't allowed back at the Rock, so that's some news to me. Sorry,
you went back to the scene of the crime.
Yeah. Yeah, you all get it. Maybe not. I don't. Whatever. Yeah. That took me off guard. All right. Next on our list, felons elsewhere. I'm so sorry, Grade A Grounds, that's your lead in. I apologize. But I do got to tell you guys about some of our good friends. It's Grade A Grounds Coffee. They are a local coffee roasting company in Kingsport, Tennessee. Owned and operated by two educators. Obviously being educators, they love their coffee, but they also want to support their community and students. They do that by giving back 5% of all of their sales to a nonprofit organization called Coalition for Kids. All the money from the coffee goes to keeping a classroom at Coalition for Kids stocked with necessary supplies needed for students. Another goal of theirs is to allow students to display their artistic talents. If you purchase a bag, see any of the bags that you can purchase, all of those labels are created by students in those classrooms. It's awesome. It also, for our gold medal blend, there's some students in the Knoxville area that specifically participate in the Special Olympics of Greater Knoxville. So it's a great opportunity for these kids to do that, but also those labels are helping go back and buy some of the supplies. So just an all-around great company making great products. We're really excited for the gold medal blend. If you haven't tried it yet, it's on sale. You can purchase that on their website. Use promo code GOVOLS, capital G, capital V, GOVOLS for 10% off today. Go check out Grade A Grounds Coffee.
Do it. Something else, Tennessee, I think, has 6 players inside the top 100 committed. The last two classes, they had 4 last class and 4 the class before that.
And like how we're trending.
Going up.
Now we got to go win, baby, win. Please win. That's it. That's gonna officially cure all.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day. They're like, "Hey, could Tennessee still make the college football playoff but lose to Oklahoma?" And I said, "Well, what about the rest of the games?" They're like, "Well, they lose Georgia and Alabama, but they lose to Oklahoma."
What? Yeah, they'll be what? 9-3?
Yeah. I mean, I assume so, but also
9-3, you're in the top 12.
I think so too. Also, it would probably really depend on how like those other teams in the SEC finish. Like, where's Oklahoma finishing at if they beat Tennessee? Where's Ole Miss finishing?
Yeah, but that all depends on their record too. I mean, a lot of factors, but I just want to hold on. Let me see if I can. Let's go back to last year.
Okay.
Sorry, I said, yeah, you'd be 9-3 there. So these are all with bowl wins. So one team finished outside. No, sorry. You'd be close because I didn't. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Did Oklahoma State win their bowl game or not? I don't remember.
Big fat maybe.
4 teams finished outside of the top 12 with 3 losses, I presume, regular season losses. Oklahoma State might have had 4 regular season losses.
They did win their bowl game. They beat Texas.
Okay, so 4 teams finished outside the top 12 with 3 regular season losses. SMU is one of them, and not a single one after that was an SEC team. Oklahoma was one of those teams, but they were not SEC last year. Tennessee finished 17th with 4 regular season 4 regular season losses.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's possible.
It's possible, but you leave it up for the committee to decide.
But yes, but when you look at how.
But if you're 9-3 in the SEC, you should get in.
Well, and I'm just looking at now what I'm counting is how many teams would be SEC this year that finished in the top 12. So that means someone else should finish there if you win your games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Let's say Texas because they finished third. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, and LSU.
Okay.
So assuming you would. So let's say Tennessee goes 9-3 last year. They beat Missouri. You're definitely in front of Missouri then at that point.
Yeah. Easy solution. Go 12-0.
Yeah. Just to be number 2 in the country.
Yeah.
We want to host a playoff game. Shut up. Shut up. So don't be number 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it's going to be different now with so many SEC teams, but a 9-3 SEC team is probably finishing in the top 12.
Okay.
Would a 9-3 Arizona team, who was number 11 last year, be in? They were ahead of LSU. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy.
Yep. All right, guys, we got a special guest. And second time on the show, I think he's finally now recovered from Omaha. The pencil guy, Jack DeLongshaw. How are you, man?
I don't know. Buckle up. The voice is still pretty gnarly, boys. I'm not sure if it is the understatement of the century or not, but I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it's been a ride for sure. 2024 was an awesome season. So tell me, like, what your plan is now. Like, are you still like full go, or do you take a little bit of a break? Do you have an off season? Are you still recovering? I guess
It's a good question. I think the perception from afar is that it's all sunshines and rainbows, man. The boy had to get back to work to pay for this crazy trip out, man. As contrary to belief, man, Ty Conoroga hadn't picked up the phone yet. So I work like 3 or 4 different side hustle jobs in order to, obviously chase the dream. And, it's a situation where I was able to come back to Charleston, South Carolina, get back on a boat, start working as much as humanly possible to rev it up and ramp it up for not only next spring, but some really exciting ideas and some concepts that I think that we're going to be able to bring to life and manifest for this fall as well.
Awesome.
Hey, you got any schools? I know you checked out Tennessee last fall. I'm sure you checked out some others. You got anything lined up and maybe coming back to Knoxville?
Well, I think we've kind of got that penciled in. No intended, but it's this idea that, boys, I'm 1 for 1. We've done 1 in-person interview, 1, and they won the damn national championship.
So come back.
Oh yeah, now you got to come back. Also, like, we had the big thing where we were gonna never do a podcast again if Tennessee won a national championship. Yeah, they ended up winning it. We are still here. But we're like, I don't know how. Like, we can only go down from there. So I'm thinking, from your perspective, you go out on top and you end it, just done.
If I was smart, I would. I saw a really awesome highlight reel. I think it was Jason Worth on like the Pardon My Take podcast talked about how, dude, he hung it up, he retired, and he went and played in that men's league baseball game. I don't know if y'all ever seen that viral video.
Yeah.
950 feet. He goes, I didn't run the bases. I just walked into the dugout, and that's the last time I grabbed a bat. If I was smart, I do the same thing, but I'm too overzealous. I'm all in.
Yeah.
So to your point, kind of what we have in mind, campus virtual tour, right? Like this idea that when I was walked around Lindsey Nelson, I got the opportunity to meet Kirby Gonell and Xander Seacrest and interview Drew Beam and Coach Vitello. Obviously, like there's this idea that you're peeling back the layers and you're showing this really raw, genuine kind of like, I guess, breakdown. Like it's not an interview, right? Like it's just a conversation, a dialogue.
Sure.
Yeah. And it kind of comes to fruition where the rest of the country gets to learn that these crazy characters are just dudes that love playing together. So to have the opportunity to reveal that side of the sport to the rest of the country would be a lot of fun. So book it. We'll be back in Knoxville this fall. But because I'm absolutely senile, I went 1 for 1 last year. I'm going to try to go 8 for 8, I think, this fall.
Okay.
Go see 8 teams, blend it, because I actually do broadcast high school football and college football in the South Carolina area. So kind of blend it with football as well. So like show the day-to-day of a student athlete experience out of Tennessee, right? So drive in on a Friday morning, interview coaches and players, Saturday do a football game, and kind of show like the tailgating experience of obviously, hey, not only do you want to come play here, this is what your fall is going to look like as well. Facility tour, weight room stuff, and then on Sunday do baseball inter squad. So that's what we got kind of teed up. We got a couple teams that have reached out that have wanted and expressed interest in trying to make it happen. So stoked for a big fall.
You said 8 for 8, though. You're going to try to go to the 8 college World Series attendees. Is that the plan? These are your predictions?
If I go 1 for 1 on a natty, if I go 8 for 8 and nail down all 8 Omaha teams next year, they might as well make me the chair of the damn committee.
I don't know. I think you should just go to Vegas, live in Vegas at that point, and start picking numbers.
There's a lottery number on those balls this year, wasn't there?
Yes. Yeah.
You were hanging out, but you were rubbing elbows with some big people by the end. I mean, you were in the tunnel with Josh Heupel, Peyton, right? I mean, Peyton Manning must have been around there somewhere.
Morgan Wallen.
They were all right there in the tunnels, man. I think that's like kind of the beauty of that event, right? Like I kept telling everyone, I was like, this is Disneyland for baseball junkies. Everyone's so damn happy. But even these legends of status, right? Like these Mount Rushmore type dudes, in Knoxville, like I didn't want to be the guy to go to the sheriff and go, hey man, would you love to do an interview with a pencil? Like he's got 1 million people interviewing him. I just thought it was so cool to see how damn happy he was. And to me, that's the beauty of college athletics, that the professional ranks like will never be able to grasp this idea that this guy didn't have any connection with the baseball team other than that he bleeds Tennessee orange. So yeah, we bumped elbows for sure with some crazy people on the field. Don't think I wasn't dumb enough to ask him to do a Pencil Talk interview. I didn't do it with the sheriff. But yeah, man, it was man, to be on the field when the confetti was coming down, it was man, that was such a crazy experience for sure.
Did you watch your head when Vitello threw the ice up in there?
He's assaulting the good name of baseball. Yeah. I mean, that was absurd.
No, man, I'll tell you, the ice was obviously iconic, right? Like it's gonna go that you could be in history books, that picture.
Oh yeah.
I think there's 1 billion people there. The coolest moment as I think I'm going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. Grew up and still am a diehard Texas Longhorn fan. My whole family is in the state of Texas. They went to Austin. We call it the Vince Young moment, right? He rings the Rose Bowl, jumps up on the top step, and he like takes it in. Tony, right after they celebrate in the middle of the field, darts for the third base side and just dives headfirst Derek Jeter style directly. So you can see like media members all over the place jumping up on obviously the field tarp and like are looking down into this mosh pit of fans and you can't even see them. So man, I wish there was a better picture on the bottom of the dog pile, quite literally in the stands, because I think that would may have been a little bit more legendary in my eyes.
Yeah, I like to do a breakdown. If you get to talk to Vitello soon and you remember this, ask him like, why did he choose like that specific spot?
Right? I just to be honest with you, I think it was just instinct, right?
Yeah.
Like it was almost I
don't know what to do with my hands kind of thing.
exactly. My girlfriend calls it golden retriever energy. She's like, it's a conversation with you. You're all over the place. You win a natty, you're celebrating, you find family, and then his eyes, I think, just went directly at that group and see
squirrel.
Squirrel. Yeah, exactly.
What was I mean, that was really, what was it, 4 walk-offs to start Omaha?
4 in a row, and then you got to understand one of them is you've got the game-winning home run robbery and that A&M Florida game, right? Yeah, Cade Curlin goes backside and Lord Tubington goes and robs it. So we've got 3 walk-offs and a walk-off home run robbery in the 9th inning. Like those first 2 days were so surreal. And then obviously they start to temper a little bit. But I think we talked about this maybe the last time I was on. It was such a testament to kind of where the game is. Mm. You obviously knew last year with ratings skyrocketed on ESPN that LSU drives like quite the wagon, right? Mm-hmm. Almost felt like your Tennessee faithful, Vols Nation, like had a chip on its shoulder of like, oh, you want to see what caring for one's all right, I got you.
Yeah, look at how much Jell-O we can eat.
eat.
Yeah.
So add that, element with the slight wrinkle that, take the draft belittle it down from 40 to 20 rounds. NIL is real, so there's more leverage than ever to stay in the college game. The game's just better than it has ever been before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had some high school kids ask me some advice when I was out there, like, what should I do if I want to play college baseball? I go, I think you're talking to the wrong guy. Like, if I was a senior in high school, I probably wouldn't have been good enough to play college baseball at that point in time. Yeah. That was just 6 years ago. So, man, it's a credit to how damn good the game is now.
Yeah, it's insane, and like the draft in itself is like it's a love-hate relationship. Like you love to see your guys get their name called, but it's also like you're on the edge of your seat trying not to lose your recruiting class because that's how good you're recruiting right now. So it is fun to see kind of how it's changed, and like it's changed like that for everybody, but especially Tennessee because you've had some guys that you've worried about the draft, but not just like, I mean, they signed 9 guys in the top 100 out of high school. So, I mean, it's just a different animal now.
And then how that completely alters the way that you then go about the portal or how you go about like allocating resources in different, I guess, avenues. I joked and said along the lines that you guys have had this thing on autopilot, right? Like Coach Vitello and his entire staff, the program before winning a national championship has created this, I guess, aura. I know it's like the big trendy word right now, but it's true. Like where everybody wants to go play for them, right? Like they don't have to. And Coach Elander was quick to grab me after winning that natty. I go, hey man, you guys promised I could be in this damn parade. I want to come see what it's all about. Like I'm cashing in my chips now. He started laughing. He's like, all right, come on. Mind you, I was in an RV. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I lived in an RV for the 2 weeks out there. The RV is about a 19-hour trip from Charleston to Omaha. In the RV, it's about 26. So I had 7 hours. So I was looking at about a 21-hour drive to Knoxville. So if I'd have left quite literally in the 9th inning of the natty, I still wouldn't have made it for y'all's parade the next day. I feel like broke like barometer records.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, Coach, what the hell, man? Like, I'm cashing in like the next day. Like, what about all these fans out here? He goes, dude, I'm going back to work Wednesday morning. He's like,
you got to get it done.
I got 2 guys that are going to be in carry for Team USA, like Dean Curley and all these dudes. I'm like, there's that flip of the switch where like we remember Nick Saban winning these national championships on the gridiron, and you're like, oh, all right, it's just coach speak. He's really recruiting the night after the nat. No, these dudes went right back to work, and that's why you guys are, in my opinion, building truly a dynasty.
Well, and don't forget now with the recruiting portal too, like they're recruiting in Omaha. I mean, they've got guys there. Yeah. They're making sure they're enjoying watching this national championship. It's a different animal. You don't get to enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, we play at 7. There's only 2 teams that are left. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Did after that Friday game, Did it feel like the magic had maybe run out? Or sorry, Saturday game. It started on
Yeah.
Saturday.
No. And I'll tell you why. To me, like A&M, it was. I'll say this. Let me preface with this idea that how often especially in baseball, does the national championship come down and boil down to the two best teams in the country? Not even a question, right? Like sometimes it's who's the hottest team, who's got the best matchups, pitching wise. Like it was without a shadow of a doubt. These are the two best teams in the country all season long. When they announced the pitching matchups and A&M opted to save, right, and they go Prager, they're selling out. They have to win this game, right? They have to go win this game. You question, and I'm sure for a program looking for its first national championship, you lose game one, you're like, oh my God, not like this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, their attitude after that loss, and when they showed up to the ballpark the next day, and they're listening to Yaglo and Cardi B, and they're just like showing up to the ballpark like it's a practice back in February. I go, well, they're fine. Like I'm not. They're fine.
Well, and they've done it so many times where they played in every rubber match known to man, and then like when you finally get to that game, you win game 2, and you're like, all right, game 3. I mean, that's what it felt. It felt like it was over because their guy that's been there all year to pitch in these rubber matches is pitching again. In every big game Tennessee played in, Xander Sechrist was your pitcher. So, yeah, I think after you won game 2 to keep the series going, I feel like it was kind of like the start of Omaha when you get that one against Florida State, which all-time game. After that, I feel like all those ACC teams were just like, that was your one chance to get us, and you fumbled the bag, and we're just going to run through you after this.
Dude, there's so many life lessons in this damn sport that we all love and hate so much. And I know like college football's around the corner and you got me geared up, but you already got me with goosebumps, like just rethinking about that entire tournament. It's like, dude, 4 in the 9th inning. You scored 5 in the last 2 innings to beat Florida State. You're dead in the waters. Had no business winning that game.
Yeah.
Christian Moore hit for the second cycle in the history of the World Series, and they're going to lose. You think about this like battle tested in the face of adversity. All right, we're cool. Even in game 2, like they're down. It's the 7th. Cortez was fantastic for A&M, throwing 98 mile-per-hour BBs. And Dreiling hits a ball that like quite literally touches the moon and then comes down. And it's like, all right, we're all right. Like they never seemed worried. Fans sure as hell did. I'm sure those coaches felt it. But those dudes in the dugout, like these stud young guys that like forgot to get nervous, never did. And man, you mentioned Xander. There was this really cool moment where, those guys looked out for me from the start, right? Like how crazy is it that when I asked Coach Vitale, hey, in November, I want your guy that represents this program. If it's your best player, fantastic. Like, I just love to like touch the fabric of what it means to be a volunteer. And he goes, I got the 2 perfect people for you to do this like stadium tour. And he sends Xander and Kirby, right? How fitting is it that those 2 guys in game 3 are so pivotal that after game 2, right? And this is like where like some of like the media piece like bugs me at times, but like after game 2, instead of not celebrating a Cal Stark homer or celebrating Dreiling going crazy, they're hounding Xander Sechrist, who's about to endure the like most stressful 24 hours that really nobody on the face of the planet can like, I guess, understand, right? Like I got to go to bed tonight knowing that I'm going to pick up the ball and it's just me out on that island with 40,000 people there and another 3 million at home watching, and it's me. And he's hounded, and he answers every question like a pro's pro, and he laughs, and he jokes like he always has. And he goes, hey, would you guys mind if I left really quick? And he grabs me, and he goes, would you like please get me the hell off this field? I'm like, of course. And we walked off the field shoulder to shoulder, and he looks at me and goes, this is pretty cool, isn't it? And I go, unbelievable. And he walked away, and I go, that ball game.
Yeah.
Ball game. Like it was just in that moment, like ball game. Like it was the perfect dude in that moment to deliver for y'all. And it was to this day, like such an honor to like have that such a quick snippet to go, this is so sick.
Yeah. Dude, and national television. Dude's got a towel over his head. You know, you should see that clip of the guy on the bench getting focused. Like he should have been MJ in the locker with the bat on at that moment. He walks by a TV camera and just says, "Nothing, just another midweek." and he's about to play for the national championship.
Well, I don't know if you know that story or not, but like when I interviewed him, I released this clip the day of that did really well because people like thought I had released it that day when in reality it was in November. He had only ever started in midweeks. So this midweeks matter thing, like we joked around about, because when I played in college, I was such a wildly below average baseball player that I was a plus 12, minus 8 guy. Only way I was getting into a ball game is we were up 12, down 8, and he laughed his just tail off. He's like, that's me, man. I'm a midweek guy. Mm-hmm. So the whole season, he'd be pitching these pivotal rubber matches at the box or in Miss. Oh, man, it's just another Tuesday.
Yeah. That's what we told him we had him on Thursday before the final series, and we were like, Monday's pretty close to Tuesday. It might as well be
so we were just convincing him for it to be just another midweek.
Yeah, dude.
That's all it is.
No worries.
No, none. And we played golf. I guess that is supposed to release soon. But I mean, talk about ice in his veins. Man doesn't get nervous. We've had to play 2 playoff holes because he kept dropping 25-foot putts.
He drops like a 40-foot bomb on the first playoff hole. Like they should have lost easy.
Who else did you play with?
It was just it was me and Xander versus Caleb and Joey Boots, our producer.
I love it. That's electric.
That's awesome. It's awesome. We kind of had to play in the dark. So
it was
finally we just had to like do like a putt off because we couldn't see our balls anymore.
I love that.
But yeah, like he doesn't get nervous like that. I think he just lives for that moment, or he's just too big of a goober to like really care about it. I don't know.
There's this idea that I think we joked where it's like when your leaders, your vocal leaders become your dudes, right? Mm-hmm. It means a little bit different for those guys in the dugout. Like Dylan Loy's emergence out of the back end is a complete indictment on like guys like Kirby and Xander and AJ Russell, like these guys that had been there and done that, and Drew Beam. That, not to say that like your superstars aren't like great teammates and great leaders, but when like the goofy guy that shows up and doesn't have to go Mamba mentality, right? Sometimes as a youngster you try to emulate that and you go, well, that's not me, right? Yeah. Like learning who you are at that stage is everything. So if that's not you, great. Like figure out who you are and then learn how to thrive in that. It's just a different animal, right? Yeah. So, you know, like a guy like Dylan Dreiling wasn't supposed to make the money he did in the draft this year. No one can, like he was a kid from like no one thought about Hayes, Kansas. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden, like he's able to buy in and be who he is, right? Like he might be the quiet kid sitting in the dugout, but there's a reason that every coach on that team told me in February, this is not even close to the strongest guy on our team, Jack. I was like, really? Like that big? And sure enough, he has this monster year. And then we've come to expect like the exceptional from Blake Burke and Christian Moore. And then it allowed dudes like KT and Dreiling to go and do their thing without all that pressure in the world on their shoulders.
We had Connor Pavoloni on a couple years back, and we were talking about this incoming freshman class, and it was when Dreiling was a freshman, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this kid, two-year guy, and he's gone." I was like, "Oh, like he's that good. He's that good." I was like, "Okay, you know, we'll see." And then, I mean, what in the world was that in Omaha? I mean, that's another guy who like he just lives for those moments, and like you have those gamers like that. Like you've had like a Drew Gilbert, like, and I feel like it's helped like turn your program around, having guys like that in your locker room.
No doubt. It was something that Coach Vitale said too, like that 21 team is just as much a part of this national championship team, which is, I feel like sounds kind of coach speak to like anybody that might be listening from afar, but y'all have lived this thing, right? Like y'all have been a part of this every day. Y'all can attest like everything changed. So it's like, they may have put a bullseye on their back, but all of a sudden there was a level of prominence and expectation, a standard set. So you're right. Like, hey, you got to be ready game day. Doesn't matter any day of the week. And then a dude like Dean Curley, who's a teenager, which is so stupid, right?
Yeah.
It allows those kind of guys to go, all right, cool. This is how we go about our work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6'3", shortstop that can hit 400-foot bombs. Yeah.
Yeah, how they build these dudes? Like I
Yeah.
ate my Wheaties. I was showed up to school like $1.60. I was like, oh, there's a praying mantis. These dudes are
Yeah.
Don't worry, they're still the Ariel Antiguas of the world. It's like 5'7".
He'll come back next year and probably be jacked like all of them do.
He is 5'7", but he also can jump up and glove up any ball at dink. I mean, they put him in the 9th of a national championship, and it's like, if you didn't believe in Ariel Antigua, shut up, because the rest of them do.
Had played the entire World Series. How about that? How about that play he made in the 6th hole? The guy ended up being safe over at first.
But to get the ball down, man. God.
It almost was the greatest play in the history of the World Series. It was unbelievable. Had played all week. It was sick.
Yeah. He's going to be a freak, and it's crazy to think like he was going to be your starting shortstop until got hurt, and then Dean Curley just kind of set the world on fire, and you didn't really have a place for him. And then the bat wasn't there all year that you'd like for it to be to kind of make that a competition. But I mean, the glove it'll play. I don't. If he's making plays like that, he can bat 180. I don't care.
I said the middle of the field, catcher, center, short. I don't give a damn if you can't hit your body weight. Like, glove it, there's a spot in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, like, we talked about the draft a little bit, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but even at the big league level, there's such this lost art of pitchability. Like, how does the Xander Seekers not get drafted? He deserved that shot. He's going to take advantage of that shot. And in 3 years, when we see him in the big leagues, GMs are going to laugh and we're going to be like, you're dumb. Like, did you not just see this guy do it for the last 8 weeks of the season better than anyone in the country? Same thing goes for like a Cal Stark. Like, that back pick is a professional level play and will change games at the next level. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, there's a reason like a dude like David Ross caught till he was 43 years old in the biggest games in the history of the sport because his pitchers respected the hell out of him. His glove mattered more than its bat. And there's a level of clutch that you can't teach. Like, Cal Stark's going to play this game for a really, really, really long time. Yeah. And to your point, I don't care if he hits 070. Like, his glove is going to stick for forever.
Oh, yeah.
He's due for a bomb every little once in a while. And it's always in a huge moment. He's got one. He's got one hiding back there somewhere.
Yeah, I almost protested and just never watched another Major League Baseball game after that draft when Xander didn't get picked. But I picked it back up. But I did take a 2-week, little time off from it just because.
I'm sure the whole state was hungover after the World Series. So like, it probably good to take a breather for a second.
Right. Yeah, I needed it.
No baseball.
Yeah. Also, that parade, loved it. It was awesome. I don't know how we had to do it on the hottest day in history.
I'm sure you know, and this will be in the golf video, but Xander signed a baby at that parade, right?
I don't know.
Were you aware of that?
I'll send it to you. I was driving my Teal Ninja, what I named my RV. I'm driving the Teal Ninja back from Charleston. It's like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning when I think that video like went viral, right? Mm-hmm. My girlfriend sends it to me and goes, "Can Xander sign our future baby?" I was like, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. I turned to Landon and I said dibs on Xander for first game.
I sent it to Xander, a screenshot. I sent it to Xander. I go, "Thanks a lot, dude." He goes, "No, I just want to be the namesake." So I was like, "All right, well."
Yeah, we can do that.
There you go.
I got a weird feeling that 9 to 10 months in Knoxville is going to be a whole lot of Xanders running around.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, it turns out he signed 2 babies. The dude was just signing daycares worth of children at this parade.
So here's the question. How quickly after did those parents wash it off of their child?
That's what I want. Was it Sharpie? Like, what? That's kind of maybe too much, but I'm glad they did it. Worth the story.
You know, I'm a pencil guy, but it'd be tough to like sign a baby with pen. It had to be Sharpie. And then if it's Sharpie, like obviously I'm hoping they're bathing their child daily. Like, do you go just don't wash that certain spot? Like we're keeping it forever.
I think it was like on it. I think it was on its shirt. So
okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can frame that. I mean, the baby probably can't wear it now. It's already outgrown it. So
that's awesome.
Frame it.
That parade was absolutely nuts. And then the fact that, I mean, I'm sure you could tell mostly from the videos, but just in case you couldn't, people were willing to get run over by vehicles to high five Tony Vitello, to high five Dylan Lloyd. I mean, whoever. They were stepping out in front of Jeeps and Ram 1500. I don't know, everything. It was nuts. And everyone's like, move. And I'm like, they're not going to move. Like, you're just going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait.
I think my favorite part is just like the Tennessee fans who, like, I know probably they might know Christian more on the team, but they were just there just like celebrating and just having a great time. Just like, we finally won something. So I'm gonna come out here and celebrate. I don't care if I don't know anybody or not.
I was going to say like the casual. Yeah. But like no one gave a damn. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They threw a beer at a random guy on a float. And then all of a sudden,
it's a reason for me to get smashed in Market Square. I'm in.
So is that like the downtown Main Strip? So, because I was looking at it, I'm like, there wasn't room for another single person for that parade. I mean, it was packed to the teeth.
Yeah.
If you guys were Natty this year on the gridiron, like what happens then? Does the city just burn down?
Yeah, we burn it down.
Probably.
Like gone.
Okay. Good chance of that. Yeah. Push it in the river. It's probably the move.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I showed up as I'm driving down there. I'm like, man, I don't know what this is going to be like. I'm kind of worried it'll be kind of underwhelming. This is last second.
Yeah.
Tennessee baseball. Like, I think you get, 10,000 people out here, maybe, however, like the most that would show up to it. And I don't know how that would look in the streets. Well, then I'm trying to find a parking spot. I ended up having to park like a 15-minute walk. I was like, holy crap, this is going to be insane. And it was. We got lucky and got on a rooftop in Market Square, but I would have left before that. It was so hot. And we were literally fighting people.
You couldn't move. It took us like 20 minutes to get like 100 feet in the crowd.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd bode well. It's like, I'm 27, like the old school clubbing days where you're, chest to chest body. I'm like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
That baseball team, I probably would have laid it on the line.
Yeah, there are people dropping like flies due to the heat. Someone lost their kid at one point. People were just shouting this kid's name, trying to find him. I mean, it was mayhem.
That's awesome, man.
College baseball, you can't beat it.
I was going to say that no other sport on the planet.
No,
not at all.
What do you think about Hunter Inslee coming back?
Love it. I think it's a brilliant move on his end, right? Like when you look around, I guess the market and the space in itself, like it wasn't like a heartfelt move. Like he didn't just do it because he wanted to try to go back to back. Like Ryan Prager at Texas A&M, the Southpaw, who's one of the best lefties in the country. He opts to come back. A little bit more money, maybe, from a financial standpoint. But at the end of the day, like I think made more sense. I think get healthy, play a full season, like at full strength, where he was hobbling around like a dog on one leg, like at the end of the World Series. And, I still think obviously the play into the wall, right? That was just classic. You win game 3 by a run. And I think it's almost become an afterthought, maybe the most athletic slide into home plate that has ever been seen on that field in the history of the sport. And he did it on one leg, like the hammy was gone.
Yeah.
So to me, when you get, like we talked about with those arms, not only a vocal leader, but a dude that's quite literally ready to put his body on the line for the boys, you get that guy to come back. He helps set the tone, I think, in a way where going back to back ain't easy. But for him to come back to create a new identity for this team to go, hey, we're not that squad. Like, we have to be able to do it again. Of all the dudes that left, it feels like he's one of those perfect symbolic guys for next season to rally around and everyone will look up to, because you go, hey, it's easy to walk the walk, but he's talk the talk too. Like, man, I'm stoked for him because, obviously selfishly, I think a lot of Vols fans wanted to see him back, but I think even personally too, I think he can really improve his stock from a draft standpoint next year as well.
Yeah, no one was hotter down the stretch than Hunter Inslee was. You see his batting average for the year and you're like, oh, like he's solid in the middle of that lineup that has a bunch of dudes in it. But I think he was batting like 340 from like from the postseason on. So he was just phenomenal. So I do think it is big because you had guys this year kind of look to Christian Moore and Blake Burke. Like those guys have been in Omaha before. Like this isn't their first time. And just having that presence in the lineup that, hey, he's been here twice, I think it helps kind of everybody. It's just like an ease factor. Just like you were talking about Xander, being the dude that he was and just not – he might have been really nervous. I was really nervous for him. But he didn't act like it. So, I think it just put a sense of ease in that dugout where I think Hunter Hensley can do that same thing.
No doubt. And I think it's a dude with an edge, right? Like it not only is it like Blake Burke and Christian Moore, like these stars, right? Like these bona fide all-stars, but it's a dude with a little bit of swagger and a little bit of cockiness and a guy that's willing to talk his talk a little bit. I think Hunter Hensley's got that as well. So I think that really helps too, because forgive me if I've used this analogy before, but especially in the game of baseball where it's such a team sport, my favorite 30 for 30 documentary of all time was that Bad Boys Pistons one. Yeah. And they said every great team has an identity. It's no more true in baseball. And the Tennessee Volunteers have been so true to their blueprint, to who they are the last 3 to 4 years, that when you get a guy back like a Hunter Hensley, right, not to take away from anyone else that, has moved on, but you get a dude that like completely has bought in. And I think it's easier for guys around him to do so and follow suit when, you got a leader that quite literally is running 100 miles per hour into walls and Olympic gymnastics, cartwheeling into home plate. Like it'll, man, it's gonna be a fun year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's the Evan Russell.
Yeah.
From a couple years back. Yeah. He's that, like, he will punch your lights out kind of guy. Like he's a guy that, hey, you want to come fight, like I'll be there, throwing that first punch, and he's perfectly fine with that.
Speaking of Evan Russell, how about AJ Russell? Saw that report, and then I ended up texting him pretty quickly too. I guess with his Tommy John being late in the season, I think I just kind of assumed, like probably a lot of other people as well, that he was going to be done for the 25 campaign. But getting him back in, like they said, early February, right? You don't want to rush it by any means. You get him back by SEC play, like that's like was like a big league huge trade at the deadline. Like that acquisition halfway through the season is going to be really unfair for the rest of the SEC.
And you just won a natty without him.
I'm telling you, man, Tommy John's it's a borderline PED, I think, at this point. Like, you can come back from it in a few months and you're throwing gas after it. It's insane. I'm thinking about having it myself and going to a couple men's league games, see what happens.
Can we get a 2-for-1 special? I'll so go in.
Yeah. We'll see what they're running this month. May have to wait a little bit, but
there's
we'll check it out.
Someone hit us up.
Yeah, we'll start a GoFundMe.
I love that. I mean, it's not that's been an afterthought exactly, but Hunter Hensley's slide, you said it almost has been, because it didn't matter at the time. At the time that it had occurred, did not matter. And then also, it hadn't been talked about that A&M made a phenomenal play. Like, catcher was in the perfect position. Dude slings it from right. Like, it was perfect. Everything about the play, they did what you were supposed to do. And then he makes a slide that just doesn't exist on planet Earth. That it's one of those you don't know how people think to attempt that.
Dude, is like, because to your point, I totally forgot. It was a perfect relay. Bearing off the wall, a perfect cut, perfect throw. He's supposed to be safe by 2 or 3 steps. He ends up contorting his body in a way that I think mine would evaporate. Like, dude, when you look at it and you break it down, it is one of the more athletic plays. And you go, yeah, dude, no wonder he's heading back to Knoxville. Like, Heupel's going to have him like meet dudes in the A gap with that kind of flexibility. Like, let's go.
He's an all-state safety too.
Yep.
I know. I saw that he had like his own parade in his hometown, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is sick.
Dude's a freak. But also, like, to touch home plate, not just to avoid the tag, but to touch home plate as you do it, and then toss the helmet. Which did you see, like, Tony run and pick up the helmet?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, it was the bat kiss essentially. He picked up Dryling's bat after the Florida State. Gave it a smooch. That was after the Florida State game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He gave it a smooch. He might be trying to sell these things on eBay. That's why he's picking them up so quick. He's like, if Danny won't extend my contract immediately, I'll make money somewhere. But
his pop-up time out of the dugouts unreal.
I don't know, man. I think with how y'all absolutely crush the portal, he might be kissing bats, selling them on eBay, and it just goes straight into the collector. People to come be involved. I just sold a kissed bat for 1.2. Let's roll.
Yeah, you just give me your number and I'll sell something real quick and we'll get it.
We're never gonna see that eye black on the wall because Tony cut it out before he came back.
Yeah, you didn't cut it out because I got there first. I just it's in my back pocket. Let's go.
When Tennessee makes it back to Omaha, we'll speak it into existence. There needs to be some kind of a apology ceremony video cut out of Hunter and the wall talking and forgiving each other for that encounter.
I did interview him, and I asked him, I go, man, you're one of the toughest dudes on planet Earth. I go, but you and the wall meet in the A-gap. Who got the best of who? He goes, he may have got me today, but I'm going to have some words for him tomorrow. So I wanted to so bad. This might be hard to believe, but the ground crew at Omaha, who are so unbelievably talented, they're like, yeah, you can't do that. I got there really early the next day, and I had like a whole roll of tape, and I was going to go do like the outline of it, left center field. I just bit off a little bit too much more than I could chew. I was like, I got a little too comfortable here.
It reminds me of, speaking of who won it, as a Tennessee fan, it was Tebow and Eric Berry. And they meet and they both fall back. I mean, they just collide and both fall backwards. It's like no one really won it. It was they got the best of both of them got the best of each other. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Two just tough SOBs finally collided. That wall, I don't know how it still stood, but it did. I was pretty impressed. That was it sounded like they had that thing mic'd up. I don't know if you ever saw or heard the replay. It was the loudest collision I've ever heard with a wall.
ESPN did it right because they have those NAT mics right there in dead center field.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Probably 20 yards, because he hit it like dang near left center, but it's probably 20 yards to his right, like just dead center field. So yeah, he rattled the hell out of it. That's for damn sure.
So going back to the portal, I mean, we know a little bit about who we got, and but obviously haven't seen him like in depth playing, other than them the Ole Miss guys playing at Tennessee this year. What can you tell us about Andrew Fisher, Liam Doyle, and Gavin Keelan from Louisville?
Well, Keelan is a stud, man. I think his ability to play all over the diamond, really, really special bat the ball player. Fisher is another really unique player that I think is probably more prototypical than what we've seen. Wearing the Tennessee orange is like that guy with that beautiful blend of power and speed. We're like, there's 5 Vols that hit over 20 plus homers this year. That he's gonna be another one next year, like without question. So, man, I think there's a really lot of interesting pieces. I actually don't know this quite certain as well. The kid from Niagara, I did some deep diving. Niagara's home ball field is called the Bobo. You can leave the Bobo with that kind of power. You're going to leave Lindsey Nelson with ease. So there's a really interesting, I guess, I say dilemma. It's never a problem when you have too much pitching. But there are a lot of pickups in the portal that they made on the mound, added with the arsenal of dudes that are coming back, where there's going to be like a flurry of riches on the mound. Like this fall is going to be a war on the bump to like, where are we going to throw? Because if you remember going into this year, it was kind of understood, like, hey, are they going to leave Drew Beam in the Saturday role? Or are they going to move him up the Friday? Like, it was kind of understood, like, who was going to be, like, throwing on the weekends all year. To me, it's going to be super interesting to see what the hell they do. Like, I think it's going to be a battle. And that coaching staff's going to let those guys kind of almost in a cannibalistic approach, just like eat each other to find out what it's going to look like on the mound. Because, yeah, there's some big-time talent pieces at the plate. But to me, they just got deeper and deeper on the mound this summer as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Doyle shoved against us. I think he had 10 strikeouts, 7 innings, and I was like, who is this guy?
Was that at y'all's place too?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. I when he made that move, I remember like laughing a little bit going, sometimes like when you go play at a ballpark and you lose a game and your coaches aren't mad, and you're like, well, that was weird. Like, they pissed. And it's deep down there. That guy's better than us today.
Yeah.
Tony in his notebook that night goes, I want that kid here.
Yeah.
If you can't beat him, join him. And I think that's,
Yeah.
I remember that move.
Did you have you heard we have Ben McKee on? He said that there was a guy in the transfer portal that emailed Tennessee and said, "Hey, I'm interested in coming there. I struck out Christian Moore this year." We're
like
wondering who
game.
Yeah. And we're like, that's kind of a sick move. I mean, I don't have much to sell, but I struck out Christian Moore. I don't know if y'all are familiar with his work, but
was it a one line like email? Because that'd be kind of savage.
I don't think you can put that in like a paragraph. I think it has to be a one-liner.
It has to be, right? That's awesome. No, but Ben does awesome work, man. Kudos to you guys too. Like, I think I told you guys the first time I had you on, like, it was so much fun. Like, learning about this team throughout the season. You guys absolutely crushed. But I didn't see that story, man. I'll have to go back and re-listen. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that was after Omaha or during it, but yeah, it was Ben does a great job. We love having him on, and dude, Tennessee has a great group of guys covering them. It's pretty cool from when we started watching Tennessee or covering Tennessee baseball, how far it's come. I mean,
yeah, they would let anybody sit up in the press box before Tony got here. Now it's like you got to buy a ticket basically to be able to cover them.
Give up your firstborn and all this crazy stuff.
Name is Xander.
Name the firstborn Xander. I was going to say. Little baby Kirby, and you can get a front row ticket wherever you want to go.
Yeah. When Kirby, that was announced that he's going to stay as a assistant coach. I think it just feels right, just having Kirby, still wear that uniform with that stash.
He is a guy that is going to coach in this game for a really, 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 really long time. And to learn from the legend Frank, right? Like what it kind of looks and feels like on the other side. I felt like he was another dude when you look at big league, bullpens, right? What Kirby's role this season is he had like a very, very elite lefty pitch, but also just the ability to pitch in the clutch, which is unteachable, right? Those intangibles. It felt like there was a role for him. And it felt like if you'd have given him a chance to pitch in the minors, like it would have been a fast track dude where a big league, ball club would have gone, oh, like the numbers don't lie. I don't care what the velo looks like. This is a spin rate and a horizontal depth and sweeping action that I won't bore everyone with my like baseball nerdy stuff, but and it would have made sense. He doesn't get the shot, and now all of a sudden, like he'll have the opportunity to go impact countless lives in that dugout from a totally complete different role. And don't think that his impact won't be just as valuable as it was this year, right? Like watch some of those guys that didn't throw a ton this year. I keep going back to Dylan Lloyd because it's like he didn't really throw all year, and then all of a sudden, like SEC championship, Omaha, and you're like, what is a hell of a time to really make an impact? And he was ice.
Yeah,
dudes like Xander and Kirby, and he'll continue to make leaps and bounds, especially with the stash not going anywhere.
Yeah. Also, I found out that his two brothers are coaches as well. So like this might have been hey Kirby, we're gonna like recruit you here, but you're also gonna like be part of our coaching tree move after you're done as well.
I don't know if y'all have had him on because he could tell some awesome stories, but I think that this decision was made a couple of years ago where like he watched Big Brothers, coach in Northern Alabama, the high school ranks, who I got to meet in Omaha. They're just as awesome. And like just the whole fam, like you're like, no, okay, cool. Like Apple didn't fall far from Kirby was like involved in coaches meetings in those Tennessee, like coaches, like locker rooms. Like this was a decision that was made a couple of years ago. He was like, I want to coach. And then Coach Vitale's like, you serious about this? All right. And like kind of allowed him to, be in that inner circle because they valued his opinion. They valued, his belief and I guess his gut instinct about certain guys and what would fit. And like for a dude that just won National Coach of the Year, like if he is like, I guess, willing and able to let you into that inner circle, like it speaks volumes.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I'm excited about that. I feel like he's done it with other former players, but it just seems I don't know how I would feel not having the stash not in Lindsey Nelson next season. So I'm glad we kind of got that settled straight.
The guy that broke the program appearance record, it feels fitting that he ain't going.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the hair and stash remain, or do we see a professional Kirby? Like he's like, listen, I got to talk to families now. I gotta meet moms and shake dad's hand, or does he just, this is me unapologetically?
I think it helps that he's like, regardless of whatever, house he walks into, right, on the recruiting trails, giant ring on his finger. Like,
hey, I'm Kirby, national champion.
the hand he uses to twist the mustache has the ring on it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think he can go anywhere. I just had to pose that question.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, man, this has been awesome. I do have one final question for you.
Feed me.
How many pencils did you go through this year?
Dude, like, well, to say that this was over 100 would be, I guess, safe. I don't know. It's like chapstick, right? Like, or I don't know. You know how like,
never finish one?
Never, dude. Good question. Let's go 117 in honor of my 11.7 boys. That feels like a safe round.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is the brand still staying?
That's a good question. It's up in the air, I'm gonna be honest.
34 doesn't sound right.
34.0 don't flow.
No.
Yeah.
I'm fired up for the change, but the name doesn't work. 11.7 is perfect.
Long overdue. I know a lot of my former old teammates are pretty jealous about it, guys that are still paying off student loans, but it's so long overdue. Like to think that this was something that, that we fought for the third paid assistant. Now we're fighting for the scholarship. Now it's all coming to fruition. Like if you're a college baseball fan, or like we joked about, like if you were a casual at that parade, look what's happening at like the UFC, right? This is an emerging sport on the rise, and the NCAA is making decisions to directly impact it right away. Like this is going to completely change the game. So as disappointed I am in a potential rebrand for me and the boys, like the sport's in a better place because of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, y'all have done a great job of just bringing kind of awareness to college baseball, like the coverage and everything. Like I know everybody just absolutely loves it, and I appreciate the hat. I've been wearing it, and I've been trying to, like, everybody's like, why do you have a pencil on your hat? I'm like, I'm supporting my boy. I got to. Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. I got to tell you, my first trip out to Omaha last year, I had like literally like a cricket had like ironed on the pencil on the hat. And I had people in that ballpark looking at me like I was crazy. Like is that a phallic object? Did you draw a wiener on your hat? Like, no, not so much. Like, wasn't done as well. So now that with the colors, it pops a little bit better. So just go, hey, it's SVP, but take away the bald head. It's just a pencil.
Okay.
That's the idea. But yo, Caleb, I'll have to get you one. We need to set up a round of golf. Yeah. Round of golf, we'll play. And man, we'll have hats galore for all the fine folk in Knoxville, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when you're up here this fall, just let us know.
I'm trying to. All right, so let's get the boys' opinion. Actually, first and foremost, congratulations to y'all, man. Man, you guys making big moves. I'm just trying to be like you guys.
Appreciate it.
So you guys been there, done that at all? Do I need to come up for a football game, or do I come up for what will be just the most insane concert of all time and do the Morgan Wallen concert and do inner squats the next day? Try to.
If you got to pick one, if it's a good football game, not like Chattanooga, I'd go football game.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's between a pay for win game or Morgan Wallen,
okay,
dude, I think just do the Morgan Wallen thing. Honestly,
no, so we'll dial in a good football game. I think, to me, it'll be really important to like completely document the student life experience where it's like, dude, that is a recruiting tool for baseball players. Like, I want to go to a place with good football, not even like necessarily a good team, but just like the experience as a whole to show you like, this is who is in your back pocket. Like, this is Vols Nation. So we'll set that up for sure, man. I already told Landon, when the hat was delivered, I'm sure you guys have played with it, and I know you guys are already in football mode. I've been playing a lot of NCAA.
Okay.
I got y'all dialed in for a natty. I really do.
Yeah.
Dude.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
That DN something special. That dude's going 1-1.
Yeah.
James Pierce is going 1-1.
Yeah, I was like, hey, man, you're getting me too fired up on like a Tuesday. I can't be doing this.
Hey, and I will say about Morgan Wallen real quick, that weekend, it'll still be a good football environment because it is Oklahoma. It's away, but it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
There'll still be plenty going on.
I don't think you go wrong either way, but
Yeah.
I'd probably lean football game.
So I was talking to some of y'all's baseball coaches about it because they had pitched. We play OU in Norman that weekend as well, and I go, well, there's no one that hates those paper clips more than me. Like not. So now you're thinking my Vols fandom plus the hatred of OU.
There you go.
All him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, especially if we win, I mean, we might burn down Neyland. Morgan Wallen might throw a bunch of chairs off the top of the stadium, and who knows what will happen.
It's going to be an absolute riot. There was a rumor, obviously battling like whatever legal deal that he had involved, that when he showed up in Omaha, it was kind of like up in the air. He obviously wanted to go, but could he leave the state? That he was going to play a concert at the Mattress Factory, which is just right outside the College World Series gates.
Oh,
and it would have been an absolute. I mean, like I think the capacity was like 1,000 people. How he's about to play in front of 120,000. Like it was going to be absolute bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
So probably saved a lot of lives by not playing that show.
A good deal. Hey, we appreciate it. It was always good talking to you. And yes, we'll do a little something in Knoxville. It's coming up, man. It's coming up.
We got to get just right around the corner. What? We're 30-some days away.
34.
Boom. Book it. We'll figure out a weekend. Golf, football, low ball. Let's get it going.
Let's do it. Awesome. All right, Jack. We appreciate you, man. Good luck on the rebranding and all that. But yeah, super excited for you. And how many did you buy any like national championship gear?
Dude,
you had to, right?
Well,
you're 1 for 1.
Dude, I bought such an ignorant amount of apparel in Omaha. I got the Omaha shirt. Dude, y'all student managers and really entire support team geared me out. Like I'm going to the gym every morning at Crunch Fitness Public Gym here in Charleston, South Carolina, with like the most elite Tennessee Vols like apparel. Like
I love that.
So I haven't pulled the trigger on a shirt yet, but my guy at Bad Hat Company, Jack is hooking me up. We're doing a little pencil talk for Natty Championship hat. So we've worked out a trade. So I'll be geared up for this fall. Don't worry.
Heck yeah, I love that.
Yo.
Awesome.
Have a good night,
boys.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, man. See you.
Yeah.
That's Jack DeLongchamps. Appreciate him always, and great coverage. Tennessee takes care of Tennessee. But also just. You mentioned college baseball in general. I appreciate a college baseball podcast a college sports podcast that'll talk about the mid majors at length. That's part of what makes college sports fun is the mid majors. But I obviously don't want to listen about one mid major school. I want to kind of hear about all of them, like wrapped up into one. And they do such a good job telling me about all the mid majors. So
and I mean they're talking about did Niagara win that series against South Dakota State last week, and they know the answer to it. It's like, what?
Yeah,
I know like half these schools existed or had a baseball team, and here we are like breaking down their schedule. Yeah, it's awesome.
I want to know exactly what CFC did last weekend against Furman. Like, please.
Yeah.
I think Furman actually, strangely enough, doesn't have a baseball team. So pick another school. I can't remember. I don't think they do. Team. Yeah, as long as they have a baseball team, we're fine. Real quick, let's that one was long, which we love. So we're gonna, if you saw something on our outline, you see us don't talk about it, just don't say a word. You just keep it quiet. But we will preview some running backs real quick. And you heard as Jack was hopping off here, he mentioned James Pierce is really good on NCAA, but who else is a stud? Filthy Dylan Sampson, dude.
Dylan Sampson. Yeah, it's kind of a weird, like looking at the running backs, you're like, there's talent for sure.
Yeah.
Returning talent with Dylan Sampson. Cam Seldon is he did play a little bit at times. But that running back room was loaded last year. And I think it could still be that. It's just a lot of unproven talent. But then you're looking at it going into the season where, I mean, you're one like somebody getting rolled up on away from being in a world of hurt at that running back position.
Right.
You know, with Peyton Lewis didn't get here till the spring. You know, you got to move him along faster, get him ready to go. You have Deshaun Bishop, who is super talented and, you know, kind of waiting his turn. And then Cam Seldon, you just don't really know what he's going to look like. You hope that you can get him back as soon as possible, but you know they're not going to, you know, just throw him out there until he's, you know, 100% ready to go. So I don't know. I'm interested to see kind of how they use the running backs in a game like Chattanooga. Like, are you really just gonna have Dylan Sampson run the ball 20 times against Chattanooga? Probably not.
I hope not. I get that being your first game and you kind of got to gear up, but I mean, you kind of know what you got with Sampson.
Yeah,
you're right that you have to answer so many other questions. I really, really like Deshaun Bishop as a runner in high school. I mean, I started the Deshaun Bishop fan club. I'm the founder and president. I want to know what he can do at this level. I'm not saying I don't believe in him. I think you should ask that about anybody that's coming in and playing SEC ball. He's battled some injury. But I mean, I think the coaching staff's really excited for him. I think they have a lot of belief in him as a runner. And I know I'm rooting for him. And when you're the third running back on a Tennessee team, you have the chance to carry the ball 10 times a game.
Yeah. So
you have the chance to impact games. And I'm really curious what he does with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if he does well in that first game, I think this group can really be good. You know, when they get a healthy Cam Seldon and Dylan Sampson, as good as we've seen him play and should be better, I think he's, you know, playing a little bit heavier, but also like that speed still there. So yeah, I'm just super excited about the group of what they could be. I just need to see it
for sure. And I think, and
honestly, and replacing Jalen Wright's tough. Like that is a
right.
tough loss because he was that good last year.
Right. And I do think, and this should bring some hope to Tennessee fans if they're in kind of a similar position as me as to a lot of questions. I do think we have a very good total running back in Dylan Sampson, a strong runner in Dylan Sampson. I think you have very competent runners behind him. I'm really curious how the group as a whole does in the passing game, both catching and blocking.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dylan Sampson has proven that he's pretty well rounded, but yeah, he's not as good to me as maybe a Jalen Wright. Now, what did he start off the year with? 2 receiving touchdowns at Virginia?
He had a total of 3 touchdowns in the game. I don't know how many were.
I think at least 2 were receiving. All 3 might have been receiving.
Oh, were they?
Maybe.
I can look it up real quick.
I don't feel like he was like super. Yeah, I'm curious how he finished the year because I'm trying to think of others off the top of my head now.
He had 3 rushing and 1 receiving.
Oh, okay.
Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. I thought he had 2 receiving.
So 4 total.
But good. He in my opinion, a good all around back. I don't know how comparing him to the other 2 that just left in the passing game, but I think overall good back. He can block. He can catch. The other 2, I feel very confident in their running ability, or fairly confident in their running abilities. I'm really curious how they do in the pass game, and because that impacts this team drastically. Yes, it's a run first team, but those running backs, when it is time to pass, those running backs are tasked with a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think it's huge to have a guy that's been in your program for a while, just kind of be that next back. And I mean, it just seems like the dude has to be starving for the carries because like last year, I mean, he had 13 against Virginia. He rushed for 3 touchdowns. He had 11 against UTSA. He had 2 touchdowns in it. He didn't get over 10 until Kentucky later on in the year. He had another touchdown and then he had 20 carries against Iowa. I mean, anytime that he got double-digit carries, he went over 100 yards.
Yeah, he's
besides Kentucky, but he did get a touchdown in that one. So
yeah,
and he had 39 receiving yards in that game too. So
and we talked about SEC, all SEC snubs, and we Dylan Sampson, I think, was one of them. I think he's going to have a big year. Some of that dependent on how this offensive line holds up, but he's going to be good. I'm fired up for Dylan Sampson. Excited for the guys behind him too to see what they can do. Obviously you got to bring kind of Cam Seldon back, but I mean the little bit you saw from him, too, he's as advertised.
Yeah, agreed.
And if you had the pleasure of watching Deshaun Bishop at Carnes,
yeah,
he can play football.
And I think Cam Seldon's going to be a dog. I mean, he's like 6'3", 220 already. I mean, he looks like a slot receiver that's just shredded. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I hope he can get healthy and we're able to see him at full go, because I think that just helps keep Dylan Sampson fresh for the whole year, not just like in a game, but like you don't want to just run him into the ground those first couple games where he, kind of falls off a little bit toward the back end because you just don't have a lot behind him. But if you can get solid play out of Deshaun Bishop, get Peyton Lewis further along, and I think Peyton Lewis, I think he could be that good. Now, I think it's a lot to expect a freshman. We saw Dylan Sampson. Like, mistakes happen when you're a freshman and the bullets are flying in a game like that. You saw that at LSU. Just missed it. Henning gets hit. But you won that game all as well. But
we talked about this. He picked up that fumble.
He did.
Instant redemption.
But he didn't play a lot after that.
No, he didn't.
So that's the thing. Like, if you do see, like, I think you're in a good position where you didn't have to play Dylan Sampson his freshman year.
Right.
I don't know if that's the same case where, like, Peyton Lewis makes a mistake, you're just not going to play him, because I kind of think you might have to. You
might get in a situation where you have to, but we also know that this coaching staff kind of has a short leash for running backs. You look at that same year in 2022, Jalen Wright coming back from injury, fumbles the ball, lets the ball hit the ground 2 times, and it takes him a while to become running back that your RB1.
Yeah.
Even though when they finally started getting opportunities, he seemed like, oh no, that's your best running back. But it was still Jabari Small who they kind of leaned on the most. Mm-hmm. It took them a while to re-earn that trust. They have a short leash with these guys.
Yeah.
They do still give them opportunities, but it's maybe one of those things where it's like, we forgive, but we never forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, should be a solid group, I think, and I think having Dylan Sampson next to Nico, I think that helps him. Also, he is a good receiving threat too, so I'd like to see him. Like, Jalen Wright could catch, but I don't think it was more of a receiving back. But Dylan Sampson, I think that can put a whole new wrinkle in your offense with him on the field.
Sure.
You saw that at Kentucky. I mean, he basically took over a drive against Kentucky there in the fourth quarter that, won them the ball game.
Right.
That's all I got for running backs.
Yeah, I'm ready. We can get on with it. Ready to go to segments. Before we do that, you've got someone to tell us about.
Yeah, guys, go check out roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase. They just have the best clothing on the market. So go check them out at roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off that first purchase.
Go do it right now.
Do it.
Get on your way.
All right, most important.
Most important.
Olympics are back.
Fire me up, baby.
Dude. Did you see Bob the cap catcher?
I'm confused. Do you know the events of this? I'm confused because the comments I saw, it kind of sounds like he was a random fan.
No, he's like an
emergency NHL goalie?
No. So he's not he just literally jumped in the pool because somebody's cap fell.
Right.
He got it.
He's just like of the Olympics?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
See, the comments I read didn't sound like he was, because people were commenting like, did he already have that suit available, that swimsuit available? They're like, does he just wear that under his clothes? Well, if that's his job, then he probably does. So I'm trying to figure out why we're asking that question.
Yeah, I watched it because I was watching the swimming.
Were you watching it? You saw that live? You saw that historic moment live?
Yeah.
Wow.
And like
That's
I
spectacular.
just assumed it was. I mean, maybe it wasn't, and it was just a random fan. But like no one
microphone. It's similar like when you leave
no one
your
really
leave your lights
freaked out
on.
about it.
Seemed pretty
They're
calm and
They're like, "Oh my god!" But no, he just like jumped in, got it.
why'd
Like,
they
he
have
had
to get
done
the
it
cap
before.
out?
I think it's kind of like
It looked like it was sitting at the bottom of the pool, kind of out of the way.
I don't know. You never know. Throw off some, that next person that in that lane, it might catch their eye and throw them off a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just think it's even playing field.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Olympics, I guess I'll go this for my most important. I don't remember the guy's name. I should probably pull it up. I just saw this story earlier. I'm sure you've seen the video of it's some tiny country who had a representative for the 100-meter swim, I guess freestyle maybe, who had never swam in an Olympic-sized pool. The farthest distance he swam, because it was when he got to the Olympics, he was allowed to practice in like a 50-meter pool. And it took him like a minute and 50 seconds to complete this, whereas like the fastest time was like 52 seconds. Like you finished a full like minute behind him. He's like when he was in his home country, he had a hotel pool that was 12 meters long to practice in. It was crazy. So that is a 2000 Olympics in Australia. And
but I bet the turn though. I bet his turn was incredible. That's all he does is turn in the pool.
That's a good point. I mean, it should be. That's awesome. Yeah, it absolutely should be. Well, there was a follow-up story to that. Apparently, he kept practicing, like, instead of just like most people being like, this was not for me.
Yeah.
Why did I do this? He cut his time down to like 56 seconds or something like that. In a few years. Now he's the head coach of that swimming team. So I thought you'd heard that story before. I feel like I see it every once in a while. But pretty cool story to find out that not only did he not quit like I would have, but is also now coaching. I don't think anybody from his country is now representing. I don't think swimming's a big deal over there. But yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I was watching the 400 meter swim today, and dude, it's number one. I don't know how people can swim that long. That's insane to me. But they did it, and like they get done, and everybody's just like gassed. I couldn't imagine doing all that and coming in last. Like that would suck.
Yeah, no, for sure. We got to pick it up though. We're down in the gold medal count. We're ahead in medal count.
We still got track and field, man.
Oh yeah, that's quite a ways away.
We're good.
Okay, I know Katie Ledecky lost an event.
Oh really?
It's pretty upsetting. Yeah, I think she came in second, I believe.
Any fails?
Yeah, I think I've got one.
I got Kirby Smart. Probably not Kirby Smart, but
on his Twitter, using his name.
Yeah, you can't just fire that off.
So here's what sucks. I'm guessing those are auto send tweets that they plan out a month in advance.
Sure.
That sucks.
Yeah.
They won't be having that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I went back and looked at his page because I assumed it had gotten deleted. It had been by the time I went and looked at it.
Yeah, it was up for like 10 minutes, I think.
And pretty much all of his like last 10 tweets are those same happy birthday tweets. Not to you get it, but yeah, pretty nuts.
Yeah. I can't wait till he's reinstated at Georgia.
And then send a happy birthday tweet.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, he's probably not getting reinstated. Right?
I would think so, but I have zero clue.
It sounds not good. I guess they have to prove all that, but yeah, it does not.
Yeah.
Yikes. I've got to fail. We were very, very excited for the Neyland district, the Neyland sphere, as we've coined it. Russell Smith tweeted us about something on Friday, and I think he's right. Based on the photos, it looks like they're taking away the G10 ramp, and I will not have it. You can't take away the Gate 10 entrance ramp. That's my favorite entrance to the stadium.
Are they really taking it out?
If you look at the renderings, it is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, don't worry, Landon. I'm pretty upset about it too.
Yikes.
I mean, the whole...
How do you get in? We're just all going to be like...
Let me in! I'm going to build my own ramp. If you take that thing away, I'm going to build my own ramp, Danny. You don't want me working construction.
No.
It will not be safe. People will try to use it, but it will not be safe. There's plenty of room for a ramp. Leave the ramp. Why? Also, I just noticed this too. They have signs with names on them. Let's see if we can read any of these.
Yeah. One says
Rocky
like
Top Tavern.
Balls Wreck.
Something Brothers. Oh, this hotel has a pool on the roof. That won't be dangerous at all. The Jacksonville Jaguars. All these places have rooftops. Morgan Wallen's going to love this place.
As long as there's chairs.
Oh, yeah.
My next fail is, I think how do I say this? The lack of, I don't know, pick a team.
Okay. Any team?
I mean, number one, the whole decommitting, recommitting, decommitting.
We just flipped a guy.
Well, I know. And that's, I feel like
one flip's okay.
Yeah. But if you're doing it multiple times, I think there's an issue. And also, it can't be between two rivals. You can't just be flipping back and forth the rival teams. This kid, I don't even know like what his name is because I didn't really care that much. I didn't screenshot that. But he, on September 11th, which also, I don't know if it's the best time, commits to Alabama.
Ooh, not the best time to be.
Yeah. December 22nd, decommits from Alabama and flips to Auburn. March 2nd, decommits from Auburn, flips to Alabama. July 27th, decommits from Alabama, commits to Auburn.
Okay, a hot take. I kind of like that it was only between two teams. Like it was no one else was involved. But no one else is involved. He's like, this is a clear number 2 battle. 2-team battle. You will get or lose my loyalty. You decide who and how.
I think it's, I guess like prospects are just different when it comes to fandom, but like,
sure.
But
he's probably from Alabama if he's
right.
Those two teams.
So you have to have an allegiance to one.
Yeah, it's probably UAB though.
Yeah.
Also, I do think, speaking of UAB, I do think we need more of these flip between mid-major schools.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool. That would make it.
We have like 0 flips between mid-majors, at least that are public. We need more public flips.
Hayes Fawcett might have a heart attack if kids are doing just all these flips and making graphics for it. He might lose it. Need to check on him.
I'm in. Do it. I'm with you, but also against you when it comes to mid-majors. And again, I will allow it if it's just 2 teams.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing. He can do that. He can go to Auburn one year, then Alabama the next year, Auburn the year after that.
Right. And I think he should.
Okay.
I think he should. Yeah.
Well, then I do appreciate it. He's establishing that word's hard.
Residency, for sure.
Yeah.
He's going to pay Alabama taxes no matter what.
Well, like he's like, this is the expectation. I'm going to go ahead and let you know now what it's going to be like.
Whoever wins that year, he's going to go to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's probably never going to go to Auburn.
Sure.
Which Alabama had a guy flip from them to UCF.
I love that.
Gus Malzahn.
They have to play. Hey, they have to play USF this year.
They do.
Which I love. It would be funny, you read it and it kind of sounds like Alex Golish is taking a shot where it's like, what do you think about playing these two teams? He goes, you hear it and it's like a motivating thing. Like he's telling his team, like, hey, listen, those guys got to come play us. Whereas like he also could have been stating his fact where it's like, I mean, they do have to come play us. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Like they do have to also play in the same game.
Right.
I do think he said it motivationally,
Uh-huh.
a little chip on the shoulder, but I like to think that it was just like, yeah, I mean, that's how the schedule works out.
Yeah. Also, like, how else do you answer that question?
Sure. What do you think about playing those two teams? I think that we have to play those two teams. That's all I've got.
Got to get on a plane and land, and
it'll be some of our guys' first time on a plane going to play a college football game. Butch Jones.
I was like, that was a thing. Where was that at?
That was a Butch Jones thing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which that kid from Miami was in college, so Butch Jones might try to recruit him here.
I almost would guarantee Butch Jones recruited him to Tennessee.
Oh God! All right,
that's it for me, guys. Appreciate y'all listening in.
Yeah,
be back Thursday live in studio on Fan Run Radio.
Yep. Thanks, guys, for bringing the boat in, and we out.